Let's get into it. What's up, everybody? This is SMH Podcast. I am your host, Shania. Thanks for joining me with another episode. I got a special episode for y'all today. Today I got a special guest with me. His name is Josh Knight. He is a music artist here in Sacramento. Josh, say what's up to him.
Hey, what's up, guys? Thanks for having me on this show. I'm really excited to be here, especially in all this COVID stuff. It's exciting to have some kind of interaction in a platform like this. So
yeah, he's here via Zoom call, y'all, because we're doing the whole social distancing shit.
Yeah.
COVID is real. Y'all know I contracted the coronavirus recently, but I am COVID-free now. Thank you, Jesus.
Hey, there we go.
But Josh, give them your tags on Instagram and all your social media platforms. Let them know who you are.
Yeah, on everything you can find me at Josh Knight Music, on Instagram at Josh Knight Music, SoundCloud at Josh Knight Music, or Josh Knight Official. Then also on Twitter, it'll be Josh Knight Music as well too.
I'm trying to get into the whole Twitter thing. I don't have a Twitter. I keep telling myself I'm gonna get a Twitter because Twitter is pretty funny.
It is, and honestly, I'm here and there with it. I've definitely been on it the most I've been in my life. I think at this point, just because there's something to do, I guess.
Yeah.
But yeah, it's definitely, you find some things on Twitter. It's hilarious.
Definitely, y'all can listen to this podcast. It's gonna be on Amazon, Google, Spotify, Apple. So please subscribe. Let us know what you think. You can follow me on Instagram, SMH Podcast 96. I'm working on the whole YouTube thing, and I'm still debating about the Twitter thing, y'all. So we're gonna get into the episode. So Josh, tell us a little bit about your music, because when I listened to it, I listened to your album. I'm sorry, I forgot the name of the album. What's the name of your album?
Scorpion in the Sun, Road to Kemet.
Scorpion in the Sun. I like that. How'd you come up with that name?
Man, so I'm a Scorpio. That's like the first of all.
Okay.
I was born November 3rd is my birthday. So that's in the Scorpio season. But I was also born.
Yeah.
What's up?
Sorry, I just met a lot of Scorpios this year, and you're like the fourth Scorpio, and your birthday is literally like, it goes the 3rd, I know somebody's birthday on the 4th, I know somebody's birthday on the 5th, and I know somebody's birthday on the 6th. And I met them all this year.
What? Yeah.
Well, one of them's my nephew, but still.
Still, it's a sign. But yeah, that's where that comes from. But I was born in Nigeria, so I'm Nigerian, 100% Nigerian. So that's where the Kemet comes from, because Kemet is actually, it's actually ancient Egypt, and Egypt is like the
Mecca.
It's like, you know what I'm saying?
The Mecca of Africa.
It's the spot. Right, exactly. So that's kind of the overarching theme, Scorpion and Sun, Road to Kemet. It's kind of like a journey, and there's two parts to it. There's like the personal journey, like things that I experienced, but then it's also like on the other side, it's like kind of like the hero's journey, like the soul journey for everyone, like in life in general. You know what I'm saying?
Yeah.
And those are kind of like the two aspects I tried to like put together for the album.
Nice. Okay. So how long have you been doing music? Like, how long have you, really been out here grinding for it?
Man, I would say, since I was a youngin', just since I was a little tot, I had a little bit of a music ear, but I hadn't been putting stuff out professionally, I guess, until 2014 or 2015, when I was a sophomore or a junior in college at UCSB. That was like my first time being like, all right, I think I can put something together that I can
get down to the nitty gritty.
Right, yeah, to put out there. So
okay,
that's how that started. Yeah.
Well, what made you get into music? What was like the start of it? Because like, I know you said you were like, you started as like a kid, you loved music and all that, but was that like the start of it? But what made you like start doing it professionally, like putting music out?
Right. So in college, a little backstory. in high school, like I just did mainly sports growing up, just sports in school kind of. But then like I said, I had like the music thing like that. I would do privately at my home, like I had my favorite songs that I sang and all of that stuff. But then somebody or the music teacher found out that I had some skills or whatever, and she's like, "Do you want to do choir fourth quarter or third quarter of this year?" And I was a senior at the time, and there's no more football training or anything. You know what I'm saying? So I was like, "All right, I guess I'll do it." You know, there's nothing.
So you play football?
I did play football.
Nice. What position were you?
I was a 3-sport athlete, actually: football, basketball, track and field. I just got busy.
Okay.
Yeah. So like, music is kind of like a replacement for sports. Honestly, like it's like my outlet to be like not necessarily competitive, but to compete. You know what I'm saying?
Yeah, and kind of be yourself in a way. So you're not like a part of like a big type thing. Because when you're in a group, you got to think about everybody else. But like doing music, you kind of think into yourself and like the things that you like to do.
Right. Exactly. And so I joined the choir. Then what happened was at the end, she was bringing up auditions for our senior walkout rally for the national anthem. And I was like, this will be like an opportunity to like to perform in front of like my whole student body like for the first time.
And the rockets red glare.
Yeah, exactly. I had it, but the thing is, I almost didn't do it. I had a friend who was gonna do it, and he was just gonna make a joke of it, like he was gonna make a big spoof of it.
Oh, that's
and I was like, man, what was that?
That's cruel.
I mean, like I would have been hilarious, you know what I'm saying? But in the back of my mind, I was like, man, is that really how I? Is that really? I'll be thinking about, man, I let him do that, and I wanted to do it, so I was like, nah. So I ran, like after he said he was gonna do that, like I ran to like the spot where she was, like up in the front of the school. I was like, all right, can I do the audition? I got it. So that was like my first experience. Like, all right, cool. So you can do something with this.
Okay.
Flash forward to college. That's when I joined the a cappella group because there was no sports. There was no football at UCSB. So like I said, it had to replace that. Had to replace that kind of sports aspect. So they had a cappella group, which I tried out for, and my year that I went in, I know there was like about 40 people who wanted to try out, and only 4 people got in, and I was one of the 4. So that kind of like started the trajectory of like, all right,
like you could do this. Like it gave you the momentum to be like, you know what, I got this. You know what, that's good, because sometimes we need that affirmation sometimes, because sometimes we don't. We put a lot of self-doubt in ourselves, like, nah, I can't do this, like, you know what, I somebody else can, do whatever, and we try to doubt ourselves, and we can't really doubt ourselves when we do shit, so that's
sometimes
good.
You just need that mirror put up for you to see, oh wait, do it actually look alright.
No, definitely.
Yeah.
So who do you kind of get your inspirations from, like, in music?
I would say I grew up listening to a lot of Boyz II Men, a lot of Jagged Edge. So
Boyz II Men, interesting. Why Boyz II Men?
Man, that's just like what my dad had. He had a lot of music. Honestly, my dad had a lot of Bob Marley, a lot of Fleetwood Mac. But he had a lot of Boyz II Men too. For sure. I would just play that,
The Boyz II Men thing kind of, explains why you liked acapella though, because they're like a boy group that harmonizes their voices and all that. So I kind of see why you went into like acapella and all that. Nice.
And that's what brought me in. There's even a story behind that. When I was like a little kid, when I was in kindergarten, there was a barbershop quartet that came to my elementary school, and they were
really that is so lit.
And I was like, and I was just like, how are they doing this? And it's just them. So I think from there, that's where that kernel of the inspiration came from. You know what I'm saying? It just stayed with me as I grew up, and I was like, now I'm in college, like, okay, do it yourself now.
Yeah. That is so lit.
He's another influence as well too.
Who did you say?
J. Cole.
J. Cole? I was gonna ask you that, like, who are you like more influenced by, like, in today's day and age? Like, who do you get your inspirations from? Or like, what do you get your information from? Because it doesn't have to be a who. It could be like what too. Like a certain thing gives you inspiration or something, or like influence you.
Yeah, so I would say, I can't believe I haven't even said this guy, John Legend. Other than Boyz II Men, John Legend is like the guy where I was like, man, like, I want to sound like that guy, or like, I like the way that guy sounds, or like, when I sing, people like, they're like, all right, you remind me of this guy. So I started listening to him, and like, I was like, dang, like, I really like the way he does what he does. Because there's nobody that's really, like, even today, there's nobody that's like John Legend, you know what I'm saying?
No.
Nobody's got his voice. There's nobody that you can, like, there's nobody, some Sam Smith sometimes I get him, confused with Ed Sheeran, you know what I'm saying? And that's
a little bit, yeah.
To say, maybe. But then you can't say the same thing with John Legend. There's nobody that sounds the same, you know what I'm saying?
John's voice is an angel.
Exactly. So I'm like, he was like the main soul R&B influence along with Boyz II Men. But then on the other side, I like Kid Cudi, J. Cole, and Lil Wayne. Just the way they put like words together. Like I just love the way they put words and schemes together. And then later on in college, I found out about Chance the Rapper, and he's the one who really made me decide to put out my first real work.
Chance is the truth.
Yeah, he really is. Once I heard him, I think my roommate in college, it's weird. My roommate in college was from Sacramento, and I didn't necessarily live in Sacramento at the time. I was from Antigua, and we were in Santa Barbara at the time, but my roommate was from Sacramento, and he showed me Chance the Rapper. Yeah. And I was like, I can't believe I've never heard of this guy.
Yeah, that's how I felt. I had a friend. She was my best friend at the time. We're not really, friends like that anymore. But she was in love with that guy. Like, in love with him. And I started listening to his music. I'm like, okay, this dude's like, he's pretty dope. And then it was like, after that, everything he put out, I was just like, this dude is fire. Like, amazing.
Yeah, I mean, like, he was just doing something that, he was, like, melodic with it, but he was still, like, spitting, like, hard shit. I was like, man, like,
yeah, real fast.
And then I found out his age, and I was like, this dude's a year younger than me, and he's doing this. I was like, I can't believe this. So, like, the very next day, like, I made, like, I wrote out my first song. I took it to a friend to put it together, and that's how it started.
Nice. Nice. Okay, nice. So, can I ask what would you say would be like your biggest struggle so far as an artist? Like, what have you like struggled with so far as like an artist?
Man, I'll say two things. The one thing was at first was like getting not my family necessarily, but my parents like to kind of see where I was going and like what I wanted to do. Especially when you come from like a Nigerian household, everything's like they have like certain ideals and expectation, and it's like if you're not a doctor, lawyer, engineer, it's like what are you doing?
Yeah.
But it like right now, I'm actually a nurse. I'm an LVN, which helps me like do everything I need to do. So it's like
essential worker. You still important.
Exactly. I came to the what's it called? Not compromise, but like I found something that works. You know what I'm saying? All right, I can do something actually that I'm stable for myself, but like at the same time, I have enough flexibility and room to actually do and pursue this dream without anybody like limiting me and things like that.
Yeah.
So that was like the first challenge, and then I guess the next challenge is man, especially right now with COVID, finding like good places to see like new people, like new engagements, you know what I'm saying? Whether that be like shows or like meet and greets, just new places to actually meet genuine fans and things like that.
Yeah.
That's like the next hardest thing I think I've had to deal with, because it's like, it's not, you can't like form that connection with people right now. It's not the same as it was. So, and like I'm not in the college atmosphere anymore, so it's not like there's something I could just pop off to like right here, and that, you know what I'm saying?
Yeah.
So that's a little bit different aspect as well too. But I guess those two aspects would be the toughest parts, but that's all part of the process, and everything's kind of in a similar boat right now. So
yeah, definitely. All right, so let's get into a little bit of your music. I really liked your song, Dreams Ain't Free. I really felt like it spoke to me because, like, so far this year, I feel like I've put, like, a lot of, like, effort into trying to chase my dreams. Like, for my photography and for my film, I've been trying to do a lot more, and I have. I started my podcast, which I'm so happy and proud of myself for. But it's like, dreams really ain't free. It takes a lot of time, investment, and a lot of like different, it takes a lot, honestly, to put in work behind your dreams. But explain to like them like your inspiration behind the song, what the song like really means to you.
Right. So dreams ain't free. That song is literally, man, it takes me back because it's literally from the perspective of me as a 17-year-old kid doing chores like I would normally do, and just thinking like, is this all there is to life? You know what I'm saying? This is before I had even decided to try anything music-wise, or try to take it serious, you know what I'm saying, before I got into college. And like in my brain, I was thinking, I guess not everybody gets to do what they love. I guess I'll just try to be a doctor like my
putting that self-doubt again.
And, yeah, exactly. And that's really literally like where that comes from. That the idea from that song came from me at that time, like feeling like I don't. Is this all there is? Is this all there is to life? All this humdrum, boring shit, and are we like, if we're so special, then why do we all? You know what I'm saying? Why do you feel this way?
Yeah.
But at the same token, it's like, all right, cool. If you want to dream, sure you can dream, but it's to make it happen. It's not like it doesn't just happen. That's why it doesn't happen.
Yeah.
You know what I'm saying? Because not everybody knows what it costs to make things happen.
Yeah.
It's like a double-edged sword. On the other side, are you just gonna be bored with life? You know what I'm saying?
Yeah.
So.
That's what, and I've tried to explain that to my, no, definitely, that's what I tried to explain to my nephew. I had him out here for like a couple months, and he was just, he's 18, he just turned 19. He's just like, T, I don't know what I'm supposed to be doing. I don't know what there is to be doing. Like, I do the same stuff every day. I'm like, there's always something to be doing. He likes to do music too, and I told him, if you're really, interested in music, invest more time into the stuff that you're doing, make out a plan for yourself, investing like your branding and making sure your music is out there somewhere, promote yourself more, like do something that will help, navigate your career into the way that you want it to go, because just sitting here doing nothing, you're not going to get anywhere. It's not just going to fall in your lap. Nobody's going to be like, oh, this kid's dope, I'm going to put him on somewhere. If they don't know nothing about you, they don't know nothing like your story, none of your grind, none of your work and efforts that you put in, they can't see that by just looking at you. They got to see that by like looking at your work and all the work that you've been putting into that one thing.
It's like that saying, if a tree falls in the woods and no one's there to hear it, doesn't make a sound. You know what I'm saying? Like,
yeah,
no one's there to hear it. You know what I'm saying? Like, it's not. There's no sound.
Yeah.
If you're not putting in the work, or people can't see what you're doing, or you're not physically putting it in, it's just lip service.
Yep.
People can't put that to anything. So.
Yep. Very, very, very much true. Very much true. So, what is your end game in like your music career? What do you want to see with your music coming out? Because I like your music. I think your music is like a real vibe. If you're a smoker, you could definitely catch a vibe to it.
I try to appeal to like every, you can't appeal to everybody, but I try to appeal to the people who feel like we're on that same wavelength, who feel like, there is more to life than all this stuff. You know what I'm saying? Like, there is a little bit more to life than like what we're told to just want to experience and things like that. For like the end goal, well, I want to, at the end of the day, I kind of want to be like my own production agency. Not like agency, but just entity, you know what I'm saying? Like, I would have like my own music as well, maybe have like a label under me, you know what I'm saying? So I can like curate a sound, you know what I'm saying? Just anything creative, whether that's in like music technology, whatever that means in the future, whether it's like, different kinds of live events, incorporating like virtual reality, things like that.
Yeah.
But always something dope, always something that can like entertain you and also feed you. You know what I'm saying?
Yeah.
Musically, I guess. I'm trying to think of somebody. Like, I love what Chance does independently. You know what I'm saying? How he has his festivals and how he has his like this. Most of his money comes from his brand. You know, his clothing brand, things like that. So that's something I could see myself being, akin to, or like, trying to be like, like Kanye. You know what I'm saying? Everyone like love him or hate him. Who he is as a business person is like, something that somebody can always strive to be. And like starting so many different creative ideas.
Yeah, very true. Because I'm not a big fan of Kanye at all. Like, I do not like Kanye at all. But I think he is a great businessman, a very great business mogul. He got all this, shit in tune. So I really, I look at him at like that kind of standpoint. But I'm not like a big fan of Kanye.
Of course. And I say that, and then like on another flip, on the other side, the content that I make, I want it, like I said, to entertain you and also like feed you. You know what I'm saying? So that's like always gonna be like the end goal and something that I try to touch. Like, sure, entertain you, make you feel like you've been there before, but what did you get from it at the end of the day?
Yeah.
Sure, maybe some stupid shit that made you laugh. You know what I'm saying? Some silly ratchet shit, but still, at the end of the day, what did you get from it?
Because some of your songs did kind of like have a little bit like spiritual references to it, and I like that because a lot of people don't have that in like the type of like vibey music that we listen to today, because I feel like a lot of people are religious but we don't speak up enough about it.
Exactly, and right, exactly what you just said. That's literally behind the reason of it, because music is so influential and so powerful, and what you said is right. All the vibey stuff we're listening to, it makes us feel a certain way.
Yeah.
And when you don't talk about certain subjects, when you don't express a certain subject matter, it's like, maybe it's not cool to talk about this.
Yeah.
But then that goes and it multiplies, and more people don't feel like it's cool to talk about it, you know what I'm saying? And that's why people are feeling the way they're feeling.
Yeah, and I feel like we need to start opening up that box for it, to at least have people, be able to get their own interpretations from it and not just be so closed-minded by it all the time. Because I feel like a lot of people are closed-minded by a lot of things. A lot, especially this whole like world that we living in today. I feel like people are closed-minded but like still try to be open-minded at the same thing. Like, you can't be both. You got to be like one or the other.
Yeah, exactly. I know what you mean. It's like they try to put their feet on like both sides of the line.
Yeah, and it's like, just pick a side.
Exactly, pick a side. That's one of the topics that I talk about in one of my songs. I think it's the I Heard song. But you just need to pick a side sometimes. Like, are you on? Are you with it? Or you're not? So.
Yeah, like, are you? I listened to that one. That one was good too. I think that was like my second favorite song. And it's like, are you? What you doing? What is we doing right now?
Yeah, exactly.
So, if you could work with anybody right now, who would it be?
Ooh, J. Cole. Like, that was the first thing that popped in. Like, just J. Cole. I feel like he's got the. He's somebody I feel like we could really make some really cool music together. And the messages would be like similar and everything. Now, I know there's some controversy that we just heard that J. Cole doesn't read or whatever.
Yeah, a little bit.
But that being said, I'll do enough reading for the both of us and we can make a hot track. It's cool.
Okay, for sure. So, I got a last question for you before we wrap up the rest of the interview. This has been such a great interview. Thank you so much for joining me today.
I love this. This is amazing. Thanks for having me.
What is your idea of the new future that we're about to enter into, and what do you think that means for you as an artist and other people?
Okay, what do you mean by new future?
Like, with the whole COVID changes, there's been a lot of, like, a lot of social distancing, a lot of people you can't go out, like things aren't going to be the same, like as for like concerts, live performances. I don't know about open mics anymore. It's like, what do you feel like that it means for you as an artist?
For me as an artist, it's interesting because that's the question. That's a question that we are all facing right now.
Mm-hmm.
We have to find, different ways to, create and also reach our audience. You know what I'm saying? Since the audience can't the audience cannot literally be in front of you anymore, you have to find creative ways to have different, or use the different,
to like draw them into you.
Right, exactly. I believe, I have a hunch that there's going to be a lot more video platforms coming in the next couple of months, or next few months here, at least within the next year or 2 years.
Yeah.
I feel like there's going to be, I have a hunch about VR. I feel like there'll be some kind of play for VR and performances and things like that. But it's going to be stuff like that, like...
Kind of like that. Have you seen that movie, Ready Player One?
Ready Player One, yeah, I have seen it, yes.
Yeah, kind of like how they all live in like a VR reality, but the whole world around them is kind of like deteriorating in a way.
You know what? Kind of a little bit. I feel like it would be like that. In a way, I feel like, they'll have like these studios that people can go and they can like do their performances and they'll capture them, in these creative ways, and then they can stream that to whoever wants to be on the other side, pay a subscription or whatever. That's what I think, you know what I'm saying?
I would be excited for like holograms. If we could do like hologram live concerts in people's houses and shit, that would be awesome.
Yeah. I think there's room for that as well too. It's definitely going to force people to be more creative and think of different ways how we're going to be able to connect and enjoy each other. So, but that's what it's for. That's what we're all here for. So, experience the growth. So,
yeah, definitely. Definitely. Well, I appreciate you joining me today, Josh. Thanks for joining me with another episode. Thanks, guys, for listening to another episode. This has been SMH Podcast. I am Shania here with Josh Knight, music artist here in Sacramento, California. He's been a dope guest speaker with me today. Josh, remind them of your tags again so they can follow you on all social media.
Yeah, y'all can find me at Josh Knight Music, JoshKnight MUSIC Music. That's on everywhere: Instagram, Twitter, SoundCloud, YouTube. Josh Knight Music. Like I said, this was amazing. Thanks for having me, and keep them up, keep coming out with them, and blessings on everything else you got going.
Of course. Thank you for joining me today. If you guys like this episode, please follow me. It's going to be on Spotify, Amazon, Apple, Google, all that. Please follow me on social media, SMH Podcast 96. Told y'all I'm working on the Twitter thing. We going to get YouTube up and popping when I get my whole setup done and all that. We still newly fresh into this whole podcasting empire, so we gonna work on it. But I appreciate y'all for joining me. Thanks. Drive home safely if you're driving and you're listening to this podcast. But thanks for joining me. We'll talk to y'all later.